Look, this is the last video you'll need to watch on overcoming procrastination. I used to be a massive procrastinator myself. 4 years ago, I hit my lowest low. I wanted to grow my business to 10k per month, but I couldn't stop procrastinating. I couldn't stay focused on a task for longer than 30 minutes without wanting to open up other tabs in my browser or grab my phone and go check my messages. And every time I promised myself that I would change and finally become disciplined, do the work, I'd wake up the next day and end up binge watching Netflix all morning instead of doing the things I needed to do to move forward. Now fast forward to today, I'm up at 5 AM every morning and I crush 13-hour workdays even on the weekends. So what changed? I leveled up and I became a better version of myself. My goal with this video is to share with you everything I did to go from not even being able to stick to my own promises and to stay focused for longer than 30 minutes to crushing 13-hour workdays, getting up at 5 and doing that for weeks on end with no days off. The productivity techniques I am going to share with you also allowed me to go from having only $400 in my bank account over 4 years ago to making upwards of $1,000 in a day at only 21 years old, selling services and digital products. And on top of that, I went from being socially anxious to the point I couldn't even go for a walk in the neighborhood to spreading my message with the world and generating over 36.7 million views on social media in 6 months and starting with no audience. Sometimes people think that the reason why they procrastinate is because the work is too boring to their taste or because somehow something is wrong with them. None of these things are true. The reason why you procrastinate is because you don't have a strong enough reason to do the work. Now you might say, but Fred, I know exactly what I want. I want to make 10k per month, travel the world, be free, not have to answer to a boss who doesn't care about me. I want to retire my parents. And I will say, okay, but are you emotionally connected to that vision? Do you feel it? Growing up, I always knew I wanted to become successful and wealthy. But it's only when I became emotionally invested in that goal that I started becoming disciplined almost effortlessly. Emotions are a double-edged sword. On the one hand, people can do very stupid things for the person they're in love with, even if that person is toxic, treats them like shit, and doesn't reciprocate their feelings. I personally know some guys who almost ruin their lives over their exes. And on the other hand, emotions are what make us human, and they are what gives us the desire to go for more in life. If growing up, I hadn't felt the frustration from lack of money, then I wouldn't have been thinking about starting businesses. I wouldn't even have tried. If right now you don't like your life, maybe you're broke, out of shape, lonely, you feel sad, even depressed, guess what? That's good news. Because if you felt neutral or content with your situation, then you wouldn't do anything to change it. You'd have no reason to. As you know, nothing changes if nothing changes. Negative emotions are a wake-up call. They are delivering a very important message to you. Yet, so many people try to avoid them because they're painful. 4 years ago, my inability to confront my negative emotions was exactly what was preventing me from moving forward. It's only when I decided to let myself feel my negative emotions fully and embrace them that I started seeing any success. I invite you to do a little exercise with me. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and draw a line in the middle. On the left side of the page, write all the things that you're dissatisfied with in your life. And next to these things, on the right side of the page, write exactly what you want. 4 years ago, I wrote that I was sick and tired of being broke, of being out of shape, because I was too skinny, I felt too weak, I didn't feel confident, and I was also sick and tired of being lonely and having no one to share my life with. Now once you've done that, realize that unless you take action, your life situation will stay the same as it is currently. I know for a fact that you have an incredible destiny waiting for you, but you have to be the one that begins the journey. So what are you waiting for? Most people are unknowingly okay with settling for mediocrity. Because let's be honest, how many people said that this year was going to be the year they would get in shape, stop smoking, stop drinking, start a business, find the love of their life, fix all the broken relationships, and how many people actually followed through on these resolutions? Most people have the same resolutions year after year and they still make no progress. One thing I've learned in life is that change only happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. The truth is, you struggle to do the difficult things that you need to do to get what you want because you're too comfortable. Modern comfort is great. We can order food with just a few taps on a mobile phone. We can take a warm shower. We can watch interesting shows and movies on Netflix all evening. The problem is that same comfort can also enslave us and make us too soft. Because I can guarantee for a fact that if your life situation was painful enough, you would actually do something about it. The reason why you haven't yet is because even though you feel pain, you still tolerate that shitty situation. It's bad, but not bad enough for you to actually do something about it. Over 4 years ago, I used to look up to these people I'd see on social media, getting up at 5, working out, and then crushing 13-hour workdays until I became one of them myself. But if you had told me at the time I would be waking up at 5 AM, crushing 13-hour workdays, and doing that for 7 months and longer, I wouldn't have believed you. That experience taught me that most of the time, we severely underestimate underestimate what we can do. You have no idea what your limits are if you've never even tried to surpass them. The thing that you need to really understand is that successful people are not special by any means. Just like you and I, successful people take a shit in the morning. They sleep in a bed, they eat food, they have happy moments and bad moments. Sometimes they say smart things, and sometimes they say stupid things. My point is, they're human beings too. I think it's easy to put successful people or luxury on a pedestal, but then you meet successful people in person, you have a conversation with them, and you get chauffeured to a 4-star hotel, and you realize none of these successful people are any different than you. In today's world, we have so many opportunities to make it. Nothing is out of reach for the ambitious among us. Go take a walk in the affluent areas in your city. Go to the Rolls-Royce or Ferrari dealership. Take a look at the cars. Go to an expensive restaurant and get a drink or a breakfast. It wouldn't even necessarily cost you that much more money than eating at a regular restaurant or at your favorite fast food. Doing this is much better than having a vision board, and it will motivate you to work harder. Years ago, that's exactly what I did, and it changed my life. It allowed me to stop putting wealth and luxury on a pedestal, which often happens when you grow up broke. And it also made me realize that as long as I had the money, then I could buy anything I want. Now I've tried everything to be productive, all the way from jumping out of bed to take a cold shower, to doing Pomodoro techniques and other such things. But what I've found works best for me is to get up at 5, make myself a cup of tea, and then get straight to work. At that time, there is no one to distract me other than my annoying cat. But jokes aside, that's when I do my most intense work. Because let's be honest, late in the evening, what are you doing? You're probably on social media, or playing games, or watching movies. Instead, if you got up earlier, you would have more time to work on your projects. Look, I don't have a 3-hour-long morning routine, yet it didn't prevent me from having my first $1,000 day at only 21. I don't wake up and get a cold shower or meditate or visualize. I do none of these things. Instead, I just get straight to work and I focus on doing the most important tasks for the day. If anything, back when I was broke, I was so focused on the morning routine itself that I would prioritize following the routine instead of just doing the work. So when the whole point of having a morning routine was to lead to more productivity, it would end up having the opposite effect. Look, everything that you want right now, retiring your parents, seeing them tear up with gratitude because you bought them a home in the countryside and now they don't have to work a bullshit job anymore, being able to purchase anything you want without sweating over the price tag, buying your dream car in your 20s, all of that is only possible if you do the boring work that you're avoiding. The thing that most people don't realize is that successful people don't like to do the boring work more than average people. However, they simply do it anyway, regardless of how they feel, because they know that what's on the other side is worth everything and more. Now that being said, if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend, and together, let's blow up this YouTube channel and empower individuals across the globe to become financially free.